for sole traders, quick tips for big impact. My name's James Anderson, Development Manager at FSB, and I'll be your host for this session. Today I'm joined by Anik Tate, Marketing Consultant, Tate Digital Consulting, who will deliver an insightful and impactful practical session on how to define your goals and your audience, create standout messaging, and use simple low-cost strategies to grow your business without draining your time. Today's session will be recorded and shortly available at our on-demand page on the FSB website in case you want to watch it again. If you aren't yet an FSB member, we'd love to have the opportunity to talk to you further about the benefits of joining. So please do visit our website to book a meeting with a membership advisor. But Anik, without any further ado, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you very much, James. Thank you for the lovely introduction. It's such a privilege to be here today with the FSB, and a privilege that you guys have all taken time out of your day to come and join me. And with that in mind, let's dive in. So I know your time is precious, and I hope that you leave here today with knowledge that you can action right away and to be inspired to get stuck into your marketing. So this is Marketing Hacks for Sole Traders, quick tips for big impacts. And if you see me just looking off to my left every now and again, that's because my slides are there and I want to kind of see the screen. I am a marketing consultant. I have been working with SMEs for more than 20 years, so I understand the challenges that SMEs face. I am a solopreneur, so I kind of understand that we're all juggling so many aspects of our business: admin, finance, customer service, doing our J job, and also we've got the many hats that we wear outside of our work. We've got time pressures. You know, you might have done marketing before, but it didn't quite work, or you just don't know where to start. I mean, there's so many facets of marketing that it can be overwhelming. And I am passionate about supporting small businesses like you to understand marketing and really help your businesses to grow. I have got a little handout at the end on the last slide with the questions. There'll be a QR code that you can scan, and this will take you to a page where you can download this handout, and there'll be links in there to tools I'm talking about and articles that I refer to, so you can have those for another day. So why does marketing matter? Well, marketing matters because it drives your business goals. We all have goals and dreams about our businesses, and marketing helps us get there. It also helps you connect with your audience, like people buy from people. So marketing helps you build that relationship and build that connection with your audience. It helps you build awareness, brand awareness. I know sometimes because we're smaller businesses, solopreneurs, we think the brands are for bigger organizations, but that's not true. It kind of marketing helps you build your brand. And it also creates sustainable growth. I mean, you want your business to grow in a sustainable way that you can keep up with the pace of its growth, and marketing can help you do that. Now, on today's agenda, we're going to be looking at the foundations of marketing. Now, these foundations are like really important for you to be in place if you want your marketing to work. So sometimes if you've done marketing, and I don't actually like that phrase, but that's for another day. If you've done marketing and then it's not quite working, it's maybe you've not quite got the right foundations there at the moment. Then we'll be looking at low-cost strategies, which will be including like time-saving strategies and free tools that really help you maximize your output in as little time as possible. And then we'll be moving on to a Q&A. So if you've got any questions that pop up during the session, please put those into the question box that you can see at the bottom of your screen, and James will be reading them out at the end for me to answer. So put as much information as you can in there, and put some information that's relevant about your business that will help me answer the question that you're asking, so I can be more specific. So, laying the foundation. These are the crucial elements of any marketing plan. So your business goals are essential. Otherwise, your marketing is just shouting into the void. If they're not aligned with your business goals, marketing won't help you achieve them. Your target audience, that you really need to understand your target audience to be able to connect with them, to be able to understand the next one, what they want, so you can talk to them. And marketing is always about reflecting and refining. So when you're kind of building on marketing, you're always reflecting back, seeing what worked, who was engaging with you, how they were engaging you, where they were engaging with you. So it is a process of reflect and refine. We start by looking at your business goals. Business goals, don't just make them about your bottom line. We all have an idea that we want overall growth of X. So maybe you're a business and you're turning over 50 grand and you want to grow it to 80 grand. So that goal is great. You could just, it doesn't necessarily need to be about growth either. You might be a plumber and you might not have that much work during the summer months, but you're just got overwhelmed with work in the winter because everybody's boiler's breaking down, they need service, they need help, their heating's gone. So you might just want to keep your business as it is, but just smooth out how you get your business throughout the year. Product and service. Is there a product or a service that's not doing quite as well as you want it to, that maybe you want to bolster and support this year? Or you might have a launch for a product or a service that you might be looking at. So you might want to add those into your business goals. Client acquisition. You might have a really good client base at the moment, and you've noticed that there's like a new little target audience that is beginning to come into play that you might want to expand on this year. And the last one is client nurture. We all know that it costs more to get a client than it does to keep a client. So you might have a business goal around reducing client churn, increasing client retention, increasing the lifetime value of the client. So if you've got a client that will buy one service for you, but you could get them interested in another service, so you could expand the value of that client. So make the business goals a little bit more holistic, and it will help you drive your marketing and your business forward. And effective goals, I'm not going to dwell on this too much because the FSB have written a really good article about setting your SMART goals. Some of you have probably already seen it, but I will touch on it here. The article is linked in the handout, which you can access at the end. So your goals need to be smart. They need to be specific. So you need to know what you want to grow. They need to be measurable. So you need to understand by how much, because you need to understand whether or not you're moving towards your goals, whether or not you're getting there. They need to be achievable. So for example, if you're a business that's turning over 50 grand in a year, maybe a goal of 1 million in the next year is a little bit too optimistic. So you need to make them achievable. You need to make them relevant, obviously, make them relevant to your business and how you want it to grow. And they need to be time bound. So they want to be measurable, but within a specific time frame. So you know that you're going in the right direction. Target audience. You need to know your target audience, and you need to get specific so it feels like they feel like you're talking to them. So you need to focus down on your target audience. A target audience of everybody in the UK above the age of 18 is a bit generic. You won't be able to find like 1 or 2 messages to be able to cut through the noise and talk to everybody. I kind of compare it to a bad guy in an action film with machine gun. He's spraying bullets everywhere, but he's not really hitting his target. And that's the same if you've got a target audience that's really wide. So be specific. Look at your demographics. like gender identification, age, disposable income, etc. Psychographics, so their interests and hobbies, whereabouts they are in the UK. And if you're targeting a business, like what business sector, what business type, what business size, and who do you want to target within that business? What's their job role? So, for example, if I go back and use the example that I used earlier with the plumber, they might want to target young families in the Brighton and Hove area who own their own home. And this, when you've actually narrowed down and focused in on your target audience, it'll help you understand what they want. So when you understand what they want, you understand what their problem is and what your solution is to that problem. And this will help you craft your messaging. So get to know their challenges, get to know their needs and their pain points, and get to know their desires. So the more you understand about them, the more you can address your messaging to them. So for example, the plumber, some of the challenges or pain points of his like young family might be keeping them warm through the winter months because energy prices are so high, or it could be the young ones playing with water, could be them putting things down toilets, leaving taps on, this kind of thing. So when you get to understand your target audience, you can speak directly to them. It will help you define your USP. So it'll help you understand what will set you apart from your competitors. It will help you create a connection with them, establishing a relationship and really cut through the noise so they feel that you're talking to them. It's just like, oh wow, my kid blocked the toilet the other day, he shoved his stuffed toy and now this plumber's talking to me about that. There's something going on. Because people buy from people. So the more you can relate to your audience, the more they'll engage with your business. So if we look at our business goals, we can then map our marketing objectives or our marketing goals to them. So if I go back to the plumber who's looking to increase bookings in the warmer months to reduce the surge in the colder months, he's got increased bookings between March and October by 30%. It's a smart target, smart goal. And the marketing goal from that could be targeting existing clients through email, achieving an uptake of boiler services between March and October by 20% in the next 6 months. So it's very specific. He wants to iron out his volume of work throughout the year so he doesn't end up in a boom bust. And this is the perfect marketing objective to help him do that. Or you could be an accountant wanting to increase your client base. So target X audience through social media and email, achieving 100 interactions with the new tax saving assessment that you've created in the next 10 months. So from your business goals, when you understand that, you can really hone in on your marketing objectives, make them smart. And once you've got those foundations in place, you can move on to like the strategy of actually rolling them out. Now, planning. Everything takes less time when it's planned. So we'll be looking at planning, social media, email, then I'll be going through some time-saving tips and covering off some free tools at the end. So everything takes less time when you're working from a plan. And I would recommend that you plan about 4 weeks in advance. Now, the key to marketing is consistency. So don't plan for what you think you should be doing, plan for what you can do. And once you've got the plan in place, it's easy to knock out. And to create this plan, I recommend following these 3 criteria. So create 3 content pillars. Now, these content pillars are themes or topics which you base your content on. So they ensure that your activity remains consistent and relevant, and it's aligned with your business goals. So, for example, if we continue with the example of the plumber, some of the content pillars that they could choose from are family friendly and plumbing tips, how to stop your kids stuffing a toy down the toilet, budget friendly solutions like winter warming tips. It could help with that. Plumbing myths and facts behind the scenes. Behind the scenes is always a really lovely content pillar, because it really helps your audience feel like they're having a little world open up to them, and you're kind of like really connecting them through that. So once you've got your core themes, you're not scrabbling to try and create the content each week, because you've got a base a foundation to build it on. The next thing is messaging. So the messaging is based on what you know about your target audience, and you map out your primary and secondary messages that you want to focus on each week. And these messages could be to do with a specific pain point, desire, challenge of your target audience. It could be key dates in the calendar, like Valentine's Day is obviously coming up. The plumber, it could be don't let your Valentine's Day plans go down the toilet, followed by a quick tip. Product or service launches, like products that you want to push. There may be activity your company is doing. Maybe you're running a marathon, or you're supporting Macmillan in 2,000 burpees in the month of May. Celebrating an achievement, things like that. So you just map out your primary and secondary messages that you want to focus on. And lastly, I like to use the RACE framework, because it makes sure that your marketing actions are covering one of 4 bases. So either they're reaching your audience, which is brand awareness. They're encouraging an action. So maybe you want your audience to share a post you've created, download a winter saving tips document that you've created, sign up to your newsletter. They're encouraging an action. And the next one is convert, which is kind of self-explanatory. You're encouraging them to buy one of your products, book one of your services, become an actual client. And the last one is engage. So you're encouraging your existing clients, you're making them feel special. You might be wanting to cross-sell or upsell to them. And it's all about kind of like nurturing your clients to reduce the churn and really kind of engage with them. And with these 3 themes, topics, messaging, with these 3 mapped out, when you sit down to do your marketing, it's already given you the framework to create it from. So you're not scrabbling for ideas every week, and you're not trying to find out what you want to be saying, because let's face it, sometimes we've got so many pressures on our time that you might not have the brain capacity every time you sit down to do marketing to actually map this stuff out. So if you've got it written down in the plan, it's really easy to carry it out. When we're thinking about this, it is a little bit like following a new recipe that you've discovered. It will say takes 35 minutes to prepare. It might not the first time you do it, but with practice, you will speed up, and it will be easier for you to create and roll out your marketing. So if we take a look at social media now, you don't need to be on every single social media platform. You just need to understand where your audience are. So if you've been in business for a while and you're on social media, look and see where you're getting your engagement from, like your quality engagement. Where are people performing their actions? So where are they sharing your post? Where are they coming to your website from? Where are you getting your inquiries from and your contacts from? So where are your audience and where are they engaging? And focus your efforts there. You don't need to be in everywhere. So if you're mainly B2B, then you might want to just focus on LinkedIn. If your audience is Gen Z, then you look at TikTok, millennials, more Instagram. So really understand where they are and focus on that channel. Know your content pillars and focus your message. And then you can cut through the noise, stop the scroll, and engage directly with them. And what is your CTA? So what do you want that post to do? Do you just want it to be about brand awareness, business awareness, or do you want it to get an action? Do you want them to kind of like DM you through there? Do you want them to share your post with their followers? Do you want them to save it to come back to later? Do you want them to book a service from it? Sign up to your newsletter? Like, what is your control to action? And change up post types. Like, different post types are really good for different things. So your standard normal posts are great for announcements, like product announcements, or reels are really good for like behind the scenes things, really kind of engaging with your audience. Maybe you can get your clients to do a sneaky video testimonial that you can put up on a reel. This kind of thing reels are great for. Then you've got carousels, which are really good for like teaching your audience something and really adding value to them. And stories are good for engaging and nurturing your followers. Running polls through stories so you can kind of get to understand them and their needs, and really making them feel special. And notice what works. Again, reflect, look back, see what's worked, see what time gets the most engagement, because one of the things you're looking for is to engage with the right audience at the right time with the right message in the right place. So notice what works, what calls to action get the most engagement, what post types work better for your audience, what messaging really resonated with them. So look back, reflect, and refine. Emails. So emails are a really good way to connect with your audience once you've started generating your email list, and like good way to nurture your clients as well. So create email lists. I'm going to be recommending a really good email platform that has a good pre-plan in a minute. So you can kind of create email lists, and within those email lists, you can create segments. So you can segment your clients, your audience that you have on email by the products or services that they're interested in. Maybe you've been able to get an idea of like different interests that you can talk to them about. So you can segment your list based on that. Again, be consistent. So if you can't send an email out every week, don't send an email out every week. If you can manage it once a month, then great. If you can only manage it once a quarter, then that's fine. Just be consistent. Also, personalize. It's really easy to personalize these days with email. The most basic personalization is dear first name. Easy to do. And if you've got your segments in your list, then it's easy to personalize the content that they send to them. So for example, if you're a plumber and you've just installed a new boiler in one of your clients, then you can easily send them a quick tips on how to manage your boiler and maintain your boiler throughout the year. This kind of thing. So you can really talk to your audience. Again, focus your message. So know what you want to say to your audience. What are their pain points, needs, desires, and speak to them. Know your CTA. I mean, the calls to action that you use in your email, they might work differently to the ones that you use on your social media. So which ones are working better for you? Which ones are getting more engagement in your emails? And automate. Automation, at the beginning, it can take time to set up, but once they're set up, it's just hands-free and you're good to go. And some of the most basic automations, which you've no doubt seen a lot, are ones where you get a welcome email sent to you once you've filled in a contact form on a website, or you've added your email address to get a newsletter. You'll probably receive a welcome email. You can automate emails so you can send them out to your clients on their client anniversary. It's like, yay, you've been with us for a year. Congratulations, here's like 10% off another product. So you can automate them based on client anniversaries or client birthdays. You can automate them based on where clients are in their customer journey. So on this tool I'll show you, or I'll tell you about, there's a onboarding pipeline. So if you've given a quote to somebody and they've not got back to you in 2 weeks, you can set up an automation where an email will automatically go out to them to re-engage them and encourage them to come to you. So automations are great because they really, once you've got them set up, then they take a lot of time off your plate. And again, notice what works. So what messages is working? What calls to actions working? How are your automations working? Are they getting in? Do you need to tweak them? Do you need to change them? Notice what works. Reflect and refine. And time-saving tips. Now, this is a crucial one. Time-saving tips. Plan. As I said before, once you've planned, it's a lot easier for you to do your marketing. Create templates. So create templates for your newsletter emails. Create templates for your social media posts, social media carousels, stories. Create a template. And then batch and time block. So every week, block out some time for you to sit down and do the marketing, and then batch. And what I mean by batch is sit down, write the copy for the social media posts, then create the artwork that goes with the social media posts, and then schedule them. And I'll talk about scheduling in a minute, and then schedule them. But the reason why I say batch is because research shows that you don't waste, it takes 20 minutes to get into a task. So if you time swap, you're constantly, then you're effectively wasting 20 minutes every time you're time swapped, because that's how long it takes you to get into it. So if you're doing one copy one time, artwork another time, scheduling another time, you're only switching 3 times. It's the same with interruptions. If you get interrupted, it takes you 20 minutes to get back into the work you're doing. But if you've got kids or pets, then you can't really control the interruptions that you have sometimes. Repurpose. So you don't always need to come up with fresh content. So we go back to the example of the plumber. If I've written a blog post, like 5 tips to keep you warm this winter, that blog post can go out as an email newsletter. It can go out on social media as like maybe a carousel of one post, and then you could split it up into separate posts a little bit further down the line. So you don't have to keep continuing fresh keep creating fresh content. An example of one of the ones that I did before Christmas, I did a reel of 3 quick wins you can do in the new year to get business in. And then from that reel, I broke it down into a LinkedIn carousel a few weeks ago. So you can repurpose your content. I think I might change that into a story in the next few weeks. Schedule and automate. So schedule your social media posts, schedule your email newsletters, automate your welcome emails or any other email automations that you want to do, because then that means that you don't have to be at your computer at a specific time to do anything. It frees you up and it lets everything roll out as you want it to roll out. And again, focus on what works. So reflect and refine and use free tools, which I'm just about to look at in a minute. There's some fabulous free tools out there that you can use. Oh, sorry, there we go. So Adobe Express and Canva, they're really good tools for creating your artwork for for anything really, for presentations, for social media, for anything. They're really lovely tools. They both look very similar as well. So the interface on both of them is very similar. Metricool is a really good social media schedule posting that I would recommend. I use it myself, and you can schedule and manage your social media content on there. You can also link up your website and your Google business as well to understand how they're performing. On the free version, you get 3 months of insights for free. And it just includes basic metrics. So if you're somebody where data really overwhelms you, then Metricool kind of gives you top line data for your website, for your Google Business Local, so you don't kind of get swamped with data. And if you want to move up to the paid version of Metricool, it's not that expensive to do so. Brevo is a really lovely email tool that I use to create, send, automate your emails. And that was the one where I said that you can track your prospects through your sales pipeline and set up automations at different stages of your sales pipeline. And then there's Copilot and ChatGPT, and obviously Google's Gemini and other ones out there that can really help you with this. Now, I will caveat that I do not recommend you to wholesale copy and paste from AI. So I don't recommend that you get AI to write your blog posts, write your email newsletters, write your social media posts, because if you leave them to do that, then you lose your voice. And one of the things that you want to be doing is engaging with your audience, letting your personality show through and creating a genuine, authentic connection. Use AI to get inspiration of what you wanna write. I do that sometimes, but make sure you go back and rewrite it so it's your personality that's coming through. AI tools are great to help you research your target audience. You can ask AI to include links so you can go back and fact check what you're reading. It's really good for helping you to generate ideas for your content pillars and your messages and these kind of things. But remember, like with any tool, you get out what you put in. So your results are only as good as the information that you give it. And on the following screen, you saw just a minute ago, there's a QR code which will take you through to a website that you can download, my website, that you can download the free handout for this session. It will have the link in there to the SMART goals article that the FSB has written. It will have all the links for all these tools that you can have a look at and check them out. And it will have a link through to a document where I've written some prompts that you might want to use in AI to help you with your content pillars and your messaging. So without further ado, we'll go through and get some questions. Thank you very much for listening.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Anik. That's great. Really super informative and interesting. So thank you so much. We've got a few questions which have come in, so do keep sending them through, and we'll sort of work our way through them. Matilde has asked, she says, I find that when I schedule posts, my audience and clients perceives it as less genuine and more robotic. So I end up having less engagement compared to more organic posting of stories and posts that feel sincere. Have you got anything you sort of want to say to that, Anik, about personalizing it?
But when you schedule posts, it doesn't seem authentic.
Yeah, I think she's saying when she schedules posts, they can seem a bit robotic and less genuine. So she ends up having less engagement. Whereas when than if she's doing them sort of off the cuff, I guess.
Okay. Maybe look at the difference in messaging between what's going out organically and what's being scheduled. So it's the tone of voice that's going out in the scheduled ones slightly different to the organic ones. What kind of messaging do they have between them? It might not simply be down to the scheduling, it might be down to just like the messaging is slightly different, the calls to action is slightly different, because really your audience shouldn't be able to tell whether you've scheduled it or whether you've posted it or organically. I mean, I schedule most of mine, and they all seem to get very similar engagement across the board. So maybe look at the messaging and the calls to action and see what's happening there.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for that. It's great. Jennifer has said, perhaps incorrectly, I imagine that the core themes and topics will be the same for sole traders of the same type. How can we make these and the messages that come from them unique? I guess it's about how can I make myself stand out from my competitors?
Well, the core themes and the content pillars and the messaging would be based on your target audience. So if I look at the plumber example again, not all plumbers want the same target audience. There are some plumbers that want commercial audiences, some plumbers that they want to be like have bigger builds. Say they work a lot with builders on conversions, extensions, this kind of thing. There's some people that they'll be targeting different audiences. So you will need to understand what your content pillars are for your particular audience, which is why I mentioned earlier, you need to focus it down, narrow it down, understand what they want. I mean, on the pure example of like the plumbing challenges in houses within Brighton and Hove can be completely different to the plumbing challenges in Worthing, because we have such a damp issue in Brighton and Hove, and also plumbing issues in people in flats are different to the plumbing issues of people in houses because of multiple occupancy and leaks coming from somewhere, and like the urgency that you need to do. So when you kind of understand on what our audience is, we can then focus in on content pillars for that specific audience, and they generally tend to be different from place to place. And obviously, and the service offerings can be different between different plumbers as well. So, I mean, some plumbers don't come out and repair leaks; they just focus on boiler installations, for example. So you can, when you've understood your audience, you can sometimes discover something about you and your business that goes, oh right, well actually I can do this, and this will help that audience with solve this problem.
Great, thank you. That's lovely. Question from Carol. Great question. Once you have 12 4-week plans for marketing, can you then just repeat them the following year, obviously with minor tweaks for relevancy?
I wouldn't recommend repeating them for the following year, because the following year, you know, if your following year your business would have changed, so your business goals would have changed slightly. Your target audience probably would have changed in the following year, so you might want to focus on a different target audience. They will have different problems, different needs, different desires. So you'll need to adjust your content pillars and your messaging based on that.
Brilliant, thank you. Another great question from Sarah. What are the advantages of Brevo over MailChimp?
MailChimp's not really free anymore, and you can't automate your emails through MailChimp. And I used to use MailChimp a lot for small businesses that I worked with, and what you could get access to on the free service got kind of like smaller and smaller and smaller, which is why Brevo is like that much better than MailChimp.
Perfect, great, that's really helpful. Please, Malcolm has asked, please could you give us your thoughts on the 60-40 marketing split, brand to products?
Brand products. It's entirely what works for you. I mean, I generally go 20-80. So you're engaging and adding value like 80% of the time, and then actually trying to get sales the rest of the time, and encouraging them to buy. I find that I get more engagement that way when I do want people to engage and convert, but it's what works for you. So again, need to reflect and refine what worked last year, and then it will help you move forward into this year.
Great, okay, that's cool. Question from Rebecca. Can Metrical schedule posts on personal social media profiles?
Yes, it can. Metrical can actually manage several brands for you. So if you're a solopreneur that's actually juggling a couple of businesses, then you can manage them all in Metrical. It will manage your brand, your personal brand for you as well.
Brilliant, thank you. Question from Richard. Richard says, I run a venue for people to come for some fun. What frequency should we be scheduling emails and social media posts? Says thanks from Richard at Brighton Foot Golf.
It entirely depends on how the frequency you can manage. So if you can consistently show up and do it like once a week, then that's great. If you can, with emails, I wouldn't spam people with them. So yeah, maybe once a week is good. You can get through emails, you can get the recipients to set like frequencies, because some people, if you send too many, you might just get them unsubscribing. So through emails you can set frequencies. So it would really be on Richard and how much he can schedule consistently, because also you want to be kind of adding value all the time as well. So I wouldn't be emailing the same thing over and over. So it's how, I suppose I'm saying, it's how easy it is for him to create new stuff on a regular basis for emails. Same with social media. If you can show up every day and post on social media every day, then great. If you can do that consistently. If you can't, a couple of times a week, 3 times a week is fine too. It's all about, with social media, it's all about the algorithm. So if you're consistent with what you're posting, the algorithm's more likely to pick you up and more likely to show you to other people that don't actually follow you or aren't actually connected with you, but are showing interest in a similar kind of post type. So it is all about consistency, and that it really depends on the time demands that they have.
Right. No, that's really helpful. And what you said about it being new content rather than just bombarding people with the same, that's really good. A quick question from Andrea. Would you use Meta Business Suite to schedule?
Yes, you can do if that's your scheduling platform of choice. If you're on Facebook and Instagram, on Meta as well, it can help you if you belong to different groups in Facebook. You can share to I think about 3 groups at the same time as you post, so it can cut down on time that way as well.
That's great. Question from Graham. Thanks for the presentation. Can you recommend a good video recording tool that can be used to post to social media?
Your phone.
Great.
I do it quite a lot. I do it kind of when I'm out on my run. Generally, if I've got inspiration that kicks in, then I'll stop and I'll do a quick reel on my phone. Or some people when they're sat in their car and they've got inspiration that they've just had, they'll sit and they'll record themselves on their phone. It's really handy, and then you don't have to have kind of like any video or anything else with you. You've always got your phone at hand, so just use your phone. And then especially if it's on the likes of Instagram, it's really easy to kind of just upload and push it straight away if you've got the time to do that, and add the little stickers and stuff that you can add on Instagram.
Brilliant.
Yeah, your phone is a really handy tool to use.
That's great. And then I've got 2 questions which are similar from Malcolm and Richard. So Malcolm has said, we find that customers have become increasingly averse to giving permission for their email to be used for marketing. Other than blatant bribery, like offering future discounts, have you got any other tips on giving customers confidence to allow marketing? And then Richard has said similarly, what would be a good strategy to get through to a specific person within a large organization with GDPR barriers? So again, it's that basically how can we email people, and give people confidence to want to receive our emails?
Well, the first one, I'm not too sure whether the second one's about emails. The first one is offer them preferences. So inside any email scheduling tool, you can set a preference center where people can select what type of emails that they want to receive from you. So maybe add in there something like tips and advice, or like tips and advice, product news. So they feel like they're not actually signing up for specifically marketing emails, but you're adding value to them. So you're giving them something, you're teaching them something that they find of value. And that might not be kind of like directly selling to them, but what you're doing is you're putting yourself top of mind, because you're showing up in your inbox, they're adding value. Back to the plumber example, how to keep your boiler ticking over well over winter. You're giving people out information, and that information could be valuable to them, so you're keeping them top of mind. As far as kind of getting in there to talk to people within organizations and getting through GDPR, I would recommend LinkedIn. So addressing what the needs and challenges are on LinkedIn and posting them about that on LinkedIn, and following people that you want to talk to and add value to their posts. So when they post about something, if they're posting that they're looking for an answer for something, try and help them in the comment, and strike up a conversation with them, like in the comments, and then you can kind of organically like move into like DMing them. And it's a way that you can get in without pitch slapping them, and you can get into to talk to them, and yeah, you can get emails through that route, so you can kind of engage there.
That's great. That's really good. We had a similar question from Joanna, which I think you've just been asked. You've just answered about how to sort of build trust and reputation. So Joanna, shout if you need some further info on that. But I think that's all just answered. Great questions coming in, so thank you so much. Keep them coming. Helen's asked, is it better to have one audience or more than one? She says, I've got one B2B high value and then various C2B. I'm just starting out with marketing. Is it better to focus on just one, or is two okay?
If you've got one and you've got an established audience that you're talking to already, and you understand, you've kind of already built that relationship. That's a strong audience that you've got, so you can market out to them and then build up a smaller one at the same time. So you're not trying to, I mean, she's just starting out with marketing, but she's already got these high value clients, so they already recognize her in that sphere. So you can nurture and grow that audience and then bring in a new one as well.
Brilliant. That's great. Question from Martin. Having not used or needed to use digital marketing, all my work has come through word of mouth for the last 20 years. Would you recommend to gradually build up an online presence or make a grand entrance? That's a fine balance between not enough / too much work. So yeah, if he's done nothing, do you recommend a sort of big entrance or just sort of to gradually creep in online?
I would recommend kind of it. Again, it goes back to how much you can actually manage consistently. So if you're creating like a first website, you can launch yourself online, but it doesn't mean that you have to like post incessantly. Just create that consistency. So if at the moment, because he's just starting out, he thinks he's only going to be comfortable posting 2, maybe 3 times a week, then start there and build up. Because one of the things is you don't want to just go guns blazing, and you find it's taking you too much time because you've not had that practice. So the more you do it, the more practiced you get, the quicker that you get doing it, and then the more comfortable you are posting like 5 times a week, every day a week.
Okay, yeah, no, that's great. That's good. Andy's asked, if you're just starting out with a B2B business, how would you advise getting contacts initially?
Networking. So networking within your own community. There are some, depending on where you are in the country, there are some great networking groups. Also LinkedIn as well. Find your voice on LinkedIn. Start building your brand. If you've got a company page, start building that company page. Identify who your target audience are on LinkedIn, and as I said before, start commenting and adding value to other people's posts, so you start popping up there. And yeah, leverage your network.
Brilliant. That's great. We got sort of 4 minutes left, so we'll sort of rattle through some of these. Floyd has asked, personalizing the subject box, does it increase open rates? Yes,
yeah, it does. It increases open rates and make people curious about what you're sending them. So kind of create a hook that makes them want to open it. So if you're gonna send 3 tips or like 3 secrets to how you can make this work for you, create curiosity in your subject lines too.
Great. Liz has asked, what do you mean by carousel? I imagine that was when you were talking about Instagram.
That is when I was talking about Instagram. Carousels is when on Instagram you upload several images, it will create a site like carousel, so people can click through the different images, and you can use it to share tips, like share like your process of how you work, maybe like 5 tips on how to keep yourself warm this winter. Tip 1, lag your pipes. Tip 2, whatever the other tips are, so you can get engage your audience and get them to scroll through your posts.
Great, thank you. Gary has said LinkedIn seems to be quite a depressing and random platform these days, making it harder to know what works when. How much stock would you put in analog marketing, e.g. flyers, etc.?
Analog marketing, it works really well because you don't have the same amount of noise that you used to have. And obviously it depends kind of what business you're in, but we don't have a whole stack of flyers that come through our door anymore. So if you get the message right, then flyer drops work really well. Outdoor marketing is something that also works really well now. Depending what type of business you are, maybe seeing whether you can get a speaking pitch, a networking event that you want to attend, this kind of thing. Offline stuff can work really well because a lot of it is about online now.
That's great. Would you recommend using paid ads to get started and noticed, or would you grow organically and do paid ads later?
It depends how quickly you want to grow and get started. You can use paid advertising. Make sure you know who you're targeting, so refine your audience before you do, and make sure you know your messaging and your content pillars. Just make sure you know who you're talking to and what you want them to do, because at the end of the day it's all about your budget and how much you want to spend. Local advertising on Facebook, for example, can work really well because if you manage your campaign well enough, you can do things like, I'm in Brighton, it's a nice sunny day on Brighton. So if you're a local business, you could be on Facebook and show up on people from Brighton's Facebook feeds going, oh, it's a really nice day in Brighton, we've got this going on at our company, why don't you come down and see us? And you're kind of engaging at a local level with information that you would only know because you're a local. So you can kind of really cut through the noise using paid adverts.
Brilliant, that's great. Carl has said, would you recommend the use of an assistant or outsourcing marketing to a professional rather than trying to do it all myself?
Again, it depends on budget. If marketing is something that really gives you a headache, then there are some great freelancers out there. I work with some great freelancers. You can get virtual assistants that can do basic marketing. So it depends on your budget, really.
Brilliant. And just Stuart has asked, could you recommend an AI bot to respond to social media comments?
I don't know. I personally prefer the organic, authentic respond to them. I've had a couple of AI, there must have been AI bots respond to a couple of my posts that I posted on LinkedIn when I was talking about, setting goals for 2025. And the comment post was, or the comment that was posted was like, yeah, let's smash 2024. Like, if you want to smash 2024, you're a bit late because we're moving into 2025 now. So you have to be really careful with them when you've got AI bots commenting.
Right. And then just final question, a couple of people asking about X or WhatsApp for contacting customers or targeting customers. Do you have any thoughts on either of those platforms?
X, from my experience, I don't think it really works very well. There's other platforms that are popping up which are great answers to X, like Blue Sky. WhatsApp, it's a bit of a different beast than X. It's more personal. People feel like they're contacting you more. So if you want to kind of open up your access, I think I'd probably go WhatsApp or Blue Sky if you want it to be kind of like in a more public domain.
Brilliant, that's great. Well, thank you so much. I hope we got through most of the questions there. Do obviously connect outside if you've got anything further. The event has been recorded, so again it'll be on our website shortly. So do check it out again if you want to sort of go through some of those slides and some of Anik's advice in more detail. If you've enjoyed today's session, do leave us a Trustpilot review. That's really helpful if you found it good. And if you'd like to know more about FSB, again, do check out our website, and you can speak with or book a call to speak with a membership advisor if you'd like to know more about FSB. Finally, thank you, Anik. Really great advice and really informative, something for everybody. So thank you so much for your time and the sort of energy and detail you've put in to today. That's been really, really helpful. And thank you everyone for joining. We hope to see you again soon. Thank you so much.